Father gotta do? What?
It's your boy, Japanese Tutor, back at it again, and this time we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to learn the chess secrets of the middle game. And today I'm going to present you 3 games. One of my student's games, he's rated about 700 to 800. One of my games, and at the time I was rated about 1800. And we're going to go over a Kasparov game, a very, very nice one that he played recently, not so recently, but in 2010. So let's go over my student's game. And you can see, even though there are some wins, there are some losses, and hopefully his notation is right. I mean, I went over it once with him, but I think I had to correct a few of his mistakes of notating. So he's about 600-700. Okay, so e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, and then knight g5. So he loves going for this fried liver attack, even though I've told him not to. But actually, he's black, so he knows what to do against it, but I don't know if he did it. Okay, so a lot of the time people say the best response is d5, but honestly, like, if you don't want to get into the fried liver, so let's just reset the board. Right, if you don't want to go into the fried liver, you can play what's called the anti-fried liver line, which is actually after bishop c4 you can play h6. So that's one thing. If you hate the fried liver and that's the bane of your existence or your chess existence, then you can just play that. But honestly, like, what I tell my students, if your opponent does not occupy the center with a move, that it is your duty to occupy the center. And they actually laugh sometimes because they're like, ha, he says duty, but then they remember it. You should play d4 here. Okay, so, but if you hate the fried liver, cool. But he's on the black side of this. So actually, let's look at him from his perspective. So knight f6, knight g5, and then you play queen e7. Objectively losing, but okay. Takes, rook g8, knight g5. And now he plays d5. It's weird, but he has a plan. And the plan of the middle game is, okay, I told him, maybe he listened now, that you should always try to attack in the center when your opponent doesn't take the center. So maybe that's coming through. And sometimes that lesson is a little bit more powerful than one might perceive it. So d5. I think this captures, bishop captures, queen captures g5, bishop captures here. And actually, so you would think that after this, white has so much material, but actually you are losing this game. And this is what he found. The Traxler, yeah. The French defense, anti-fried liver line. Nice, nice. Yeah, the anti-fried liver line. You can also play something else. You can play d5. You can play c5. I'm actually trying to get him to play c5 or c6. C5 because that's a little bit more tactical and aggressive. C6 is because I can teach him how to just stop worrying about what the opponent does and let them over push and over commit, which a lot of people do at the lower level, and then learn how to strike after. So here, the plan is queen captures g2, I think, what you saw. Yeah. Bishop d5. And then queen captures d5. Rook f1. And queen e4. Queen e2. Queen captures c2. Okay, so here black is kind of like totally winning. And it's kind of crazy because you came from a totally lost position to a totally won position. And this is how beginner games are. They're up and down, up and down. So let's just enjoy the game. But I do want to note that this is an amazing move to find, because you can see, like, okay, what's defending this pawn? Great, the queen. Although this is just a 2-move tactic, it kind of resonates that he has a plan and he saw something, or maybe he just wants to check, right? And then he's like, oh, the pawn's hanging after. But this is a great move. So queen captures c2, knight a3, and on knight a3 he played queen a4. So after queen a4 he played this is d4. His handwriting is so bad, guys. Oh no, I think he played f4. Okay, f4. f4. Bishop captures here, and I told him whenever a knight's here, you should capture it to double the pawns. So again, he's listening, which is great. He has to be careful about some stuff like this, but I don't think that's a problem right now. So captures on a3, and then you queen d4, attacking the rook, getting your queen in the center. Although I don't think this is the best move. Maybe the best move might be like just to develop another bit, like a piece. Bishop d7 and castles, because this rook is not playing, so effectively you're playing down a rook. Alright, so queen d4, and he captures on e5. Ouch. And then queen captures on a1, king f2, and then knight d4. Queen to, it says e4, bishop f5, which is nice. Bishop h3 might be a little bit stronger. Queen captures b7, rook d8, finally getting his last piece to develop, but you can see this queen is not that good. So rook d8, queen captures c7, rook d7, queen b8, check, king e7, and then bishop b2. Queen captures a2, and this is about equal, even though they're up a piece because of this. Queen captures a2, and then after queen captures a2, bishop d5, bishop d4. Actually, queen. Why did queen? Wait. Queen captures a2, bishop d5. Rook captures d5. Okay. Actually, this is a mate, I think. This is mating. What is he gonna do if he plays here? Queen here. So he plays here. Queen captures d4, and this leads to mate in a few. But anyways, rook takes. So after rook takes d5, queen captures a7, check. He brings the rook back, very nice. Rook to d7, and this will have a point soon, so just bear with me and enjoy the game. Queen c5, king d8, queen f8, king c7, queen captures f5. Queen captures d2, although the best move is probably here. So queen captures d2, king g1, queen d4 check, rook f2, g6, queen e6, queen d1, King G2. G5. Rook F7. And Queen E2. Okay. So, I think the game ended with black winning. I don't know how. He said he got into time trouble here. But I would like to explore this opening with you. And we can see kind of like the development of all chess players from this one game and going into different ones. So it's very, very interesting when you're looking at it from a coach's point of view. You're analyzing the way somebody is thinking and then trying to give him the best response. So in this game, I told him, you should look out for this fried liver. You know, you play it as well, so you should know the lines. And you should be happy when somebody plays it because you should know the best defense. That's why when I play the Sicilian Dragon or white, I would love them to play Sicilian Dragon because I know a lot about the dragon and I'm happy to go into that line. And it's basically my understanding versus their understanding. So let's look at the game one more time. E45, knight f3, knight f6, bishop c4, knight f6, very normal. Takes, okay. So a lot of the stuff at this level, so I would say from about 300 to about 1,000 are one-step, two-step plans. And okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But one-step, two-step plans can get you from maybe to about 1,200 if you're looking to be good at chess. Probably 1,200 if you're good at one and two-step plans. So you can see everything's a one-step, two-step plan. So one step, boom, two-step, and now I'm gonna take. And a lot of the times, people at this level they miss tactics or they'll miss some certain moves. So bishop d5 takes, bam, and it's all about one step, two step. But I actually really like that the white player played bishop d5 and didn't play another move. That actually shows some potential because on here then we have like knight d4. This is a trap that happens a lot in the what is that called? The fried liver Fritz variation. This is a little common trap. And again, one step, two step. And we can see how how he's thinking. He's like, okay, if I do this and he does this and then I play my other move and then that's cool. And there's like one set like strategy, right? Like, okay, I'm definitely just gonna do this, and if he does this, great. But there's not like, okay, there's what if he doesn't take? What if he does this? It's just straight linear thinking. But in chess, we know that we have to think in branches. Okay. Right. So it was like, oh, if I can attack the queen, then I can do something. And then no, then you take on b7, right? Okay, so now my rook's attacked, so I have to move it. And then, okay, I can attack the queen again. So let me attack the queen. So it's like, again, that one step, two step mentality. But I really like that he's getting his pieces out and becoming very active. Missing this. So, okay, again, he took my piece, so I have to take his piece. Is a trap that a lot of younger players or lower rated players tend to do. That is a curse. That if my opponent takes a piece, I have to take it back, and that is not necessarily true. If your opponent takes a piece, you think I can do whatever I want. This is my chessboard. Okay? I don't have to take him back. Right? I don't have to do that. I can leave that there. Maybe I'll come back to it later. Right? This is your chessboard. At the end of the day, it's you versus another person, and you guys are duking it out. You do what you want to do, and they're going to do what they want to do. And so always think about different potential, different move orders. Even though if you come to the conclusion that yours is better, you want to start thinking, okay, what if I do this? What if I take this pawn? Can I do this after? Right? If I take the pawn on d2, can I take the bishop after? Yes. So why not take the pawn on d2 first? And then you can go into that. But maybe you say, okay, maybe rook captures d4 is better. But at least you're thinking in the way that it's going to promote multi-step or multiple branches of thinking. So takes, rook back. And this is just check, where can I take? And this is great. This person actually took rook f7, again being the best move. But they're like, okay, I can take with check. I'm going to do that. You know? It's kind of like that castling with check phenomenon. Castling with check is a phenomenon that a lot of players are like, oh, I can castle and I can check. Has to be good. You know what? So I think the best way to get from a lower ranking from maybe like 800, 900 to like 1300, 1400 is just really understanding that you should try to get better at 1 to 2 step moves. I would suggest doing tactics, mates in 2, win a piece in 1, win a piece in 2. And then after that, after you do that training, get a little bit of opening knowledge, a little bit of endgame knowledge. And honestly, I think you'll be about 12, 1300. Now, if you want to break 1600, super easy. And I'm going to tell you the secret. The secret is develop your pieces. I'm going to say that again for those of you who missed it. Develop your pieces. I'm talking to you. Develop. All right. So now we'll go into one of my games. So one of my games that I won't show you everything. I'm just going to show you where it makes sense and where I want to show you my point. I did manage to win the game, but the end of the game isn't really spectacular. So e4, e5, knight f3, d6. So this is a rapid game. Rapid being 25 minutes with 5-second delay. And I've showed this game, I think, once before on my stream, but not on YouTube. So, welcome. The best move here is d4, but I like playing bishop c4 here. So, on bishop c4, he plays f5. So this person always plays f5. And I'm sorry again, it's a busy city. We managed to evolve from single called structures, which ain't too shabby. This is true. Yeah, exactly. Chess comment. He was probably seeing ghosts. So I saw this move for the first time. This is the opening. This is the first time that I've ever seen this opening. And I was like, wow. And I was stuck. Remember, this is a 25-minute game, so I don't have a lot of time to think. And I sat on my board for about 5 minutes. Literally 5 minutes. Just coming up with a plan. Saying, okay, let's consider the immediate takes. If I takes, okay, the material is even. But my grip of d5 is weakened. I'm trading a center pawn for a side pawn, and my center pawn is influencing influencing the center more because I have a pawn in the center and I'm attacking the center. Whereas the center pawn is not. It's only attacking the center, but it's not in the center. Okay, so I was like, okay, I cannot take. What are my other options? Knight c3. Well, knight c3 isn't an option because now they take. And if knight takes, then they have d5. And after maybe my knight moves, then they're going to take my bishop. So that's not good. Okay, how about queen e2? Queen e2 takes, queen takes, knight f6, d5. If I play queen d3, which is just ugly, then they have e4. Now I can play queen e2, and then they have d5, and they have a massive center. So queen e2 is not even good. Okay. So then I get to thinking, yeah, slow. You hit that 1815. Nice. So let me just close my windows because it's actually getting pretty loud. There we go. So e4. So I was thinking, okay, what's the best move, and what do I think the best move is? Again, I don't have an engine. This is just me thinking, and I thought for about 5 minutes, and I played a move d3. Now, I don't think it's the most accurate, but it made sense to me, and I continued to play it because d3 just makes sense to me. d3 keeps a pawn on e4 if they ever take, opens up the bishop, and keeps the grip on d5. So, how are you, Matej? Or mate, sorry. I haven't seen you in a while. So, he plays c6. And I'm like, okay. c6, I want to play knight c3 because I want to develop. Also, what does c6 do? c6 plans put something here to attack d5 eventually. So I want to prevent his plan eventually of playing here. So it just makes sense. These are 1 to 2 step moves. But I'm thinking in the future, and I'm thinking multiple branches. So I'm also considering what happens if knight f6. Well, if knight f6, then he might get d5 in, but I already castle. So I'm going to play knight c3. Okay. He plays here. I castle. Good move. Now he plays f4. Okay, so on f4, I was like, he most likely is planning over here. So, if he plays here, I want to attack. He did not fulfill his duty of taking over the center, so I want to attack in the center with g4. Okay? So I play rook e1, bishop g4, d4. Actually, I think I did d4 after the bishop was on e7, but okay. g4. So d takes, bishop captures f3, queen captures f3. And captures. Okay. So I have about 20 minutes on my clock. No, I have about 18. 18 minutes on my clock. And so I think at this point, what are my pieces actually doing? My queen's not so hot. It's on the side over here. My rook, it's not so hot either. My knight, hitting brick. Bishop's doing a good job. Bishop, garbage. Rook, garbage. Rook, garbage. Knight, garbage. Queen, garbage. And why is it garbage? Why? The reason that all of my pieces are horrible right now. Just one simple fact. This pawn structure right here. What's preventing my rook from developing? The rook on a1. Sorry, what's preventing my rook from developing? The bishop on c1, right? This bishop, if I could just take this off, my rook can come to the d file. What's preventing this rook from being good? This pawn. This pawn. Hey, Masabian, how are you? Right? So, I'm like, if this bishop is causing me so much harm, why not just take this? It gets rid of this problem, right? And I don't need that bishop. That bishop is just in my way. Do you understand? The king is still in the center, right? And you have to think about it like this, guys. So the king is still in the center. The center has to blast open. And I'm thinking about something like this. 1, 2, and just push, takes. Maybe I can activate my rook, or maybe I just take rook here, and then bishop somewhere. And I'm winning. And so this is what I would like to tell you. Let's stop here. Is a development of plans. As more experienced chess players, we know certain variations. We know that if the king is in the center, we must blast open the center. We know that if our pieces aren't doing well, we must make them do something. And that's why I'm always thinking to myself, what are my pieces doing? I'm actually having a talk, an internal talk, so call me crazy. But I talk to my pieces and say, what do you want to do? What is your preferred square? Where would you love to be? Right? And I try to get my pieces there. I like employing my pieces, talking to my pieces and saying, you know, give them an interview, a semi-little interview. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do in your life? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You know? Or maybe the more appropriate question is, where do you see yourself in 5 minutes? Right? Because it's a rapid game. But then, so takes. And if he doesn't take, okay, now we have to say, okay, what if he doesn't take? If he doesn't take, what's his best move? Knight bd7? I want a pawn. He still can't castle. I can get my rook out. You know? I can get this rook here. This, if they're not going to take, I can do something. For me, the fianchetto was a little bit too slow. So I did think about this line. The fianchetto was too slow because if b3, b5, right? Bishop e6, let's say. Queen d6, queen h3. It's just too slow for me. Although I do think that white's slightly better here as well. I felt like my plan was a little bit more direct. It really didn't give him a chance for counterplay. Thank you. What do you want to do, Bishop? I want to die on f4. This is amazing. That's an amazing quote. It's always bad having enemy on your turf. Exactly. Exactly. So I played bishop captures f4, and he played queen to d4. So on queen to d4, I'm like, wow, he really didn't take my bishop. So I said, you know what? He's attacking my bishop. This is the good bishop. This is my bad bishop. And he could have played queen d4 after takes anyways, so move my bishop back. Maybe bishop to e6 was better, a little bit more critical, but nonetheless, he played knight b to d7, and I said, look, the only thing that's preventing me from developing this rook was this bishop. This bishop is gone now. Rook d1. Okay, And I have to consider all the possibilities. Rook, queen takes here doesn't make sense. Queen takes here doesn't make sense. So the queen has to go either here or here. C5 or here. Maybe B4 as well. So there's a critical blow here. I didn't see it during the game. But this is the best move. Rook captures. Let's say that knight captures. Then we have bishop e3 here, and then queen f7 check. And that is a good game. At the queen f7, bam, rook d1. Let's say they try to attack my pieces. Queen captures g7, very easy. Let's say they play here. Just here's winning. You can also just take. So let's say they play king e8. Queen captures h7, and all of the pieces are basically paralyzed. Let's say, I don't know, rook. I don't know how to, it's hard to even come up with a plan. Let's say the knight goes to f6. Right? Then we have queen g6, and it's mate in 2. It's really hard to come up with a plan. But white's dominating this position. So I missed that during the game. So I won't even lie to you guys. So bam, and then I played bishop e3. Okay. So queen c7. What's up, Jim the Bin? Why not take e5 with the bishop? Take e5 because knight takes e5. So take boom, boom. No, not that move. Bishop e3, queen c7. And I'm like, okay. I'm just thinking logically. Where does the king want to go? The king cannot play here. And the king has to move. Right? The king has to go queenside. So where do my pieces need to be? Attacking the queenside. So I play queen f5. Castle's queenside. Bishop e6. Threatening a lot of things. He played rook here. And I mean, it's pretty much the pin here. Basically, all of his pieces are immobilized. White's clearly better. And I was able to take the game. And in very nice fashion. They're paralyzed. They really can't do anything. So that's the middle game plans that I kind of want to show you. Attacking the queen gains time exactly. So the next game that I want to show you, well, this game was about a few different plans. The next game that I want to show you is a game that I don't think received much press, but let's go into the new analysis. Let's load this PGN. Paste. So this is Gary Kasparov versus MVL, Machine Vashir Lagrov. MVL. I'm just gonna call him MVL. I can't pronounce that. Thank you. Thank you, Jackie the Swede. Black cannot return a pawn to free up, actually. And that, he's just totally paralyzed. So after that game, it was really funny. So he's a master. He's 2200. And he told me, oh, you need to leave soon. Okay, take care. He told me that, who are you, Paul Morphy? Because Paul Morphy sacrifices to get his pieces out. Especially interesting in the Duke. The Duke versus, Paul Morphy versus the Duke. So I'll show you this game. So e4, c5, and a 3d6. So this is all normal stuff. And I don't really want to cover opening lines. Okay. Okay, and we want to keep developing our pieces. We don't want to move the same piece twice, but we do want the rook in the center. So, perfect. And the bishop comes to f1. In a lot of these lines, the bishop f1 sometimes plays on g3, sometimes stays on f1, and maybe comes back to d3 or c4. Okay. Fianchetto. Okay. Now this is the middle game. And although this is well-researched opening prep, I kind of want to go through how people come and develop theory. So, theory, in essence, what theory is a bunch of people playing lines and trying to figure out what is the best line or what is the best move in this position. What is the best plan? And we're looking for the essence of the plan. So, obviously, the bishop has to go to g7. So, let's just play that. Whenever you play g6, usually is followed by bishop g7, unless there's a little intermezzo. Intermezzo, for those of you who do not know, is an in-between move. It's Italian in-between move. So I want to develop my pieces. I would love to develop my knight. My knight's most likely going to play here, but that would hinder the play of my bishop. Okay, so my bishop maybe belongs here or here. Then my knight can come here, or maybe like this. But if I'm going to play here, that'll give away my plan. So maybe I should play bishop e3 first, and then say, okay, maybe I can develop my knight later. But I really believe that my knight goes here, and then I can activate this rook, right? Or maybe I can play here and maybe initiate an f4 plan. Because a lot of the time in these lines, f4 is the way to break and to change the pawn structure. And these two guys are really, these are super GMs. 2800 versus 2700. Okay, so bishop e3 and knight e2. Okay, so what are my pieces doing? What are they telling me? I would love to play f4. What's stopping me? My queen. My queen doesn't belong there. So, bring it right back. Then we have different prospects. Right? And then now we can play f4. Rook c8, f4, e5. And this is an important thing for you guys to know to develop in your chess career. You might have heard this before, that if you play f4, or if you're black, f5, and they do not take, most likely you're gonna play pawn pushes again. So either if you're white, f5, or if you're black, f4. And Gary Kasparov shows great technique in playing f5. G captures f5, E captures f5. Now, if your opponent does not play in the center, you should play in the center. Key concept, the easiest way to do that, d5. The previous game was one that I played myself. It's not online. Okay. Next move. After g4, we're strengthening this, and then we're also having another pawn into the attack. So we have to consider our opponent's moves. Okay. We have to consider our opponent's trumps before we come up with our plans. So, let's even go back. What does my opponent want to do? What does he want to do? What does he want to do on this chessboard? This knight is not looking so hot, so maybe knight here, knight f6. Maybe d4, striking the center. Maybe e4. Maybe not c4. But okay, so the two plans here, here, here. The knight is good, and if we play knight e7, they're gonna play g4 anyway. So knight here doesn't do much. Queen here doesn't do much as well. Right? But on 97, c4. Yeah, I feel like we have queen f3 in here. And that's pretty strong. Here, and then followed by g4. Maybe even a bishop f2 in some lines. Yeah, so I don't feel like... I think that white's is better from this point. This is loose, so they always have to care about that. Maybe queen f3 is something I would have played. Queen f3 or maybe a4. Because it looks like they want a pawn storm. But let's go with Gary's move. g4. And I have the convenience of looking at this at home where it's not in a tournament setting. So I'm not discrediting him at all or like saying, okay, he didn't play the best move. I don't even know if that's the best move, you know? But that's just where my brain goes. I'm thinking a4 or queen f3. Okay, so g4. g4 protecting the pawn. But, okay, I really want to make this e4 work if I'm black. Rook e8. Rook e8, knight f6. But then the knight f6 gets hit with this, so we have to be careful. So rook e8. What if they just play e4 anyways? e4, d4. So if they play d4, this bishop is a monster, right? So on d4, I would just even play back and let them take because now this is here. Although this pawn is a little bit weak, this is a little bit loose. I have a lot of defensive resources. And now this, you shut off your bishop. And you're going to have to sack another pawn to get that bishop rolling. Yeah, the pieces will talk to you. Exactly. It's a common rule. Okay. So let's see what they play. Ooh, e4. Okay. The move that jumps out to me is just maybe rook c1. Okay, so we have to consider taking. And if takes, rook here, and then they get a lot of play for that. Or even after it takes d4, now this bishop is active. I don't even like taking. And what happens if I play here? Takes, bishop takes, and I like this bishop here. Or I can leave that alone. Yeah, I would consider just moving the bishop. Moving the bishop or playing. Just move the bishop. Yeah, I'm gonna move the bishop. Knight's on light squares. Bishop taking more dark squares with that move. Exactly. Okay. So 95. Oh, now I'm happy to take because now I can actually trade queens, right? Yeah. Whoa, okay. So d4, really? d4? So d4, push. Right, okay. So now this is kind of dangerous. Whenever a queen goes to h5, you have to like put your scouters up, or whenever a bishop is on d3 targeting h5 or h7, you have to be like, okay, let me look for me. I have to look for me. You know that your senses go up, and that's kind of a move that we would play instinctively. I think any good chess player, like if we could play a queen on h5, it just looks dangerous, right? And this is where, again, our antennas as good chess players come up, where we're thinking, okay, how to proceed in this position. Maybe this is not the best move, but definitely it looks very dangerous because, again, us as good chess players, we're thinking, OMG. He's going to mate me. D captures, and then knight goes inside. Okay. Bishop catches D, queen catches D3. Okay. Nice. Bishop F8. Okay. So now, my plan... Well, I gotta protect this pawn. But then my plan after that... get this knight out of the way. And get this, get something rolling over here. So let's see how... Queen F3. Ooh, okay, so we're gonna go into the... I like that. I like that. This pawn's weak, but also this pawn's weak. I would have tried to save the pawn, but he found a different way to do it. This pawn's really good, and this bishop is not so hot. Nice. Okay, and very easy. Like, where can this bishop go? Can't go here. Can't go here. Can't go here. Can't go here. Can go there. So we're gonna highlight that. Can't go here. Can't go here. This rook hitting brick. I would try to relocate this rook. So we'll highlight that as well. Highlight that for that bishop. This rook is doing a great job. So now this is where we call candidate moves. What do we need to do? Well, first, this rook is not doing anything. This is my first candidate move. I would love just to move this rook over. It just makes sense. Yeah. It just makes sense because this rook is not doing anything. If the rook is not playing, then you're down 5 points. And make minimal pawn moves. Exactly. This rook wasn't doing anything here. Get into the game. Their plan is to probably play over here. So, very nice. They're attacking our pawn now. See? Activity. Bishop d4 takes. But then we don't have a discovery, or do we? Bishop d4. This is interesting. Can we just win this pawn by bringing our king up? Okay, so bishop d4 takes, and then yeah, this is what I want to do. But can we get active? Now this bishop can get active. I don't agree with this move. Because we get tempo. But what if here? Recaptures. Bishop c5 check. Takes, rook takes. Okay, that line's not good for us. Maybe it's about equal. Okay, so let's say we play here. Takes. King here. Can't play bishop d6. Okay, so that's not good. So my candidate move is just to play rook d5 after king e3. I mean, king e3 has to be played. Or does it? Like, I'm thinking like king e3, but this pin might be a little bit too tough. So maybe just knight g3 and then try to come here after. Maybe knight g3. Okay. I mean, I think those are the only moves in the position right now. But then on knight g3, don't we have like bishop c5? But even we have rook d5, we have bishop c5 later. Because this is getting attacked. It's very interesting, to say the least. Yeah, the opera game, yeah. Queen's Night Out, definitely. The opera game was a very, very good game. And it's something that I show all of my students. So, let's go over the game and let's just enjoy the game. Knight g3 takes 6. Okay, so we have pressure here. And they're going to attack this after, right? So we don't want to just give away a free pawn, so I would just push. But now we're down a pawn, right? But then this knight, okay, so there's going to be play on one side of the board, actually. So my knight might be better than this bishop. And if we count the pawns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we're even. So they're, and then this pawn we take after, so see what happens. Right, bishop b4, getting the bishop active. Nice, attacking the bishop, saying, yo, what up? Exactly what Gary Kasparov said. Ooh, this knight's getting active, threatening knight check. Okay. Ooh, knight e7. Preventing the rook from playing here. Okay, I'm liking Kasparov's moves right now. Rook d4. I think that's... Can I play here? Wait, why can't I just play here? And then play king f3 after? Am I not just winning this pawn and winning the game? Rook takes 6, boom. I have a really active knight. Takes, boom, boom. Bishop c5. And then I play knight f5. Okay. So let's see what he plays. King f3? Really? Rook e d8. Rook captures d4, takes, and then knight back. Okay, he really wants to ask where's your knight, where's your rook going? King e4 seems strong. I love these kind of king moves where the king attacks as well. Knight g3, okay. Saying if you take here, I'm gonna take here. Okay, always repeat. Ouch. Now this is pinned to here. Yeah, do you want to go over that variation? I think that variation is really nice, actually. I think here takes here. If bishop catches e5, then rook captures d3. What do they do? Like, let's say they play... Like, yeah, we're just winning here. Like, rook d7. And let's say... Like, because this bishop is not really doing so much. And the rook cuts off a lot of its works. And this rook can't go anywhere. You know, like knight f5 and... Yeah, I mean, just can't do anything. So the idea is just to play like this. And just win. I don't know. Alright, so let's go to what they played. Okay. Wow. That's a nice one. Sacrificing the pawn, but saying, yo, I want some compensation, some comp. Ooh. Was that a miss? Maybe f captures e6, then g6. This is tough, man. This is really tough. Okay. Nice. The pawn breakthrough. If takes, Ah man, let me see if he takes. So F takes G6, then E takes. This is the stuff for geniuses right here. Bam. Now you have to come. If you take, I'm taking. If you play here, I'm taking, and then if you take here, then I'm queening. And that was an amazing game. G6. Wow. So guys, that is it for the middle game, the secrets of the middle game video. Hopefully you learned some things, and thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you all for subscribing. If you learned something today, hit the like button. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below.